Well, hey there. Welcome or welcome back. Tisha here, back to talk about Sister Wives, Season 20, Episode 2. This is a recap of Welcome to Speed Dating. If there's something that I forget to mention or that I just don't talk about and you want to, feel free to put it down below in the comment section. Like the video and hype the video. My first initial thoughts. You cannot make me believe that the Feather Crew had not planned on moving prior to them beginning to film this episode. There's a reason why out of all of these seasons we finally get a look inside, and when we do it seems a little decluttered because we know that the bird is a low-key hoarder. So now we get some shots and there's a lot less things around. Why is that? Next thing, raise your hand if you care about married speed dating. Are some of your hands up? I can't see from here. I just like, why are we watching this? And then it was long. How many ways are we going to see Jen drill a 54-year-old Mary to prepare her for this speed dating thing? Mary tells us that she isn't looking for a spark. I'm going to say because she had that initial spark, that lightning, that thunderbolt that they described with the bald eagle, and we see how that worked out, but she is trying to look for good conversation. So the dates begin. Each man is supposed to rotate from table to table. They're going to have 10 minutes with each woman before they rotate to the next person. I personally could have done without this. It felt very awkward and cringy at times. So the first guy doesn't seem interested at all. He's putting forth no effort. Every time she asks him a question, it's a one-word answer, and he's not asking her anything about herself. The second seems to know a little bit about her because he says that we have a celebrity in the building, but that could also be because of the camera that's in his face. But she doesn't like him because she says he makes dumb jokes. The third guy, John, seemed to be okay, but she didn't have much to say about him. The fourth guy, I think his name was Daniel, he's 37. He's 37, but he looked like he was in his 40s to me. And this is coming from somebody who's 41, so don't be offended. Um, uh, Daniel can't believe that, him being 37 is a big deal. She lets him know, like, it is because I have a kid that's in their late 20s and you could be my kid. Mary is very opinionated about the guys that are coming at her table, and she's talking about how funny she is and how all these things, but there are people, myself included, who do not find Mary to be as funny as she thinks she is. And then we get Cody, who comments on her speed dating. I do not know why production keeps showing us Cody making comments about various things, because he's not needed. Like, film his little scenes that he has with his bird. And if you want him to really comment on things, let's get to the meat and potatoes of why things are still bad with his kids. So we go from Mary's bad speed dating to McKelty and Tony and this move that they're having. They went to North Carolina, according to Christine, for Christmas, and a few months later came over to Christine and David's home and let them know that they would be moving. Now, Christine is very sad because she's not going to be able to be around her grandkids. I think that Christine, very much so, is still wrapped up in her children, and I think that Christine has to understand that there are going to be instances where your children move further away from you, and it's okay. Allow them to spread their wings, but she very much so wants to be close. And I can see why she would feel a little way, because I don't think that she saw it in the cards that McKelty and Tony would be leaving. But at the same point, had she not moved to Utah, she might have not met David. So take one blessing and understand that, your child is going to leave and you're still going to be able to contact her. And that's what flights and things of that nature are for. McKelty is looking forward to leaving. She's looking forward to having her children around their cousins. And I'm a little confused because I thought that Tony came from a big family and that his family was in Utah. So did they not have any children? I know he had other siblings, but like those are cousins too. Anyways, aunts and uncles, relatives. But yeah, let me leave that alone. So they're going there because Tony is going to be able to pursue his chess career. Christine tells her that you're the wife of the century for letting him have, and she does quotes, a chess career. Now, some people may feel like that's very rude of Christine, but we're not going to sit here and act like Tony has not talked crap about Christine for years. So I understood what she was saying, but at the same point, Christine, there is a career in it. So you sound a little ignorant in making that comment. And McKelty lets her know, like, Mom, it's an actual career that he gets paid from. He makes money from it. He teaches, and he later tells us that he makes content. And the area that they're moving to is the hub of chess. I personally don't know how to play chess, so I don't understand like the levels to it, but I do know that I've heard in some instances it can be lucrative. And it seems like something he enjoys. That's that man, that's his wife, that's the decision that they've made. So we find out that McKelty did let the bald eagle know about it and that she wanted him and the feathers to come and see them before they left. But Cody has disappointed yet another child because he hasn't done it. He was unable to do it. He tells us that their schedules conflicted because they both had plans that they could not change. I didn't know that they really went anywhere. I don't understand how some things couldn't be adjusted, especially if you know that she's moving across country and you all don't hop on planes to go see relatives and things of that nature. You want everybody to come to you. Also, what's the problem? It's not like the bird has a job that she can't come home to. Like, drive for the weekend, see them, and keep it moving. Anyways, at this point, Cody admits that his relationship with his older kids are strained, that for him, it's an issue of trash talk, and it's challenged his trust. Why, after all of these seasons, are we still talking about trash talk? Why does he equate honesty with them talking trash? Because even after all this time, he still doesn't seem to see that if his kids really wanted to, they could have dogged him out, but they're still showing him far more grace than he seems to show them. So Isabel comes over. She's crying because she's going to miss her sister. She talks about how now that she moved back to the area, everybody else is leaving. Christine tells us that she feels like part of the reason why McKelty and Tony are leaving is because they're exhausted from trying to get everybody back together. I personally don't see what that has to do with anything. I know that McKelty said something on her Patreon previously about the drama and stuff like that. But I would think that being that you're already in different cities as is, and you have other siblings that don't live in Utah or North Carolina or Flagstaff, that, the drama is just going to be the drama no matter where you go. I also would rather hear that take if it truly is that they're exhausted from McKelty and Tony, especially because they have moments where they're being filmed on the couch doing confessional. So why is it that production didn't ask them that question rather than asking them about this whole chess thing? So the next day, Christine and David are up first because they're going to leave out before McKelty and Tony, even though they're staying at Christine and David's house. And they are going to be hauling the big U-Haul truck, and it has a hitch on it with a trailer that's pulling a vehicle. So David points out that Christine went from having someone who didn't want to do these types of things to having someone that will. And he rather travel with her than sit at home and do nothing. I think that's very sweet. One thing about Christine and David is they seem to balance each other. So Christine says she's trying to be sad, but David keeps doing all these things like picking up little random dogs to cheer her up. So when they're coming out the house, there's this cute little itty bitty dog. I hope it wasn't cold outside. It didn't look like it was cold outside based on the way that they were dressed. But this cute little dog that's sitting there nearby, and Christine's like, "Don't touch him, David. Don't touch him. Don't touch him. Don't touch the dog." And David does not just touch the dog, but he picks up the dog and walks the dog over and is talking about how we're going to put the dog in the vehicle so we could drive. It's cute. The dog looked, maintained. So hopefully everything's okay. David grabbed some hand sanitizer or something. I didn't see that happen, but it would have been nice. But he puts the dog back near their neighbors and walks off. Christine, while they're en route, is talking about how at this point, excuse me, y'all, Janelle is excited because all the grandbabies are going to be near her. McKelty is going to be about 4 hours away. Peyton is considering moving out there. Truly is saying that she wants to move there. And now Gwendolyn is considering it as well. End scene. So we get to the second day. There's a tornado warnings everywhere. David wants to be a storm chaser and he sees this different stuff going on his phone. At some point, there's warnings of a hailstorm. McKelty calls her mom saying that they're going through a tornado. They're not going through a tornado, but they are experiencing some of the effects of it, which at that point is hail. And she's like, "What should I do? What should I do?" And David says, "Drive through it." I'm not familiar with tornadoes, but I don't think that it was smart to continue to drive through it. I personally felt like it would have been smarter to pull to the side of the road, but I'm thinking he's saying drive through it because she said it was a tornado rather than the actual, like, just the hail. But what do I know? Where they end the episode with that, but I ain't ending it with that. So let's jump back to Mary, who is still doing her speed dating, and she meets this man by the name of Ron. Now, Mary and Ron actually seem to have a good rapport. She finds him attractive. He's actually engaging. He has 3 kids and a grandson. He loves to travel. He loves a warm location. And the subject of his love language comes up. Y'all, I'm going to be honest. I'm trying to make this interesting, but I only say, like, out of this whole episode, maybe 15 minutes of it was interesting. I don't know what they need to do, but something has to give. And I don't know if part of the problem is the way that they're presenting us this with us knowing like majority of the storyline by now, or if it's just because we know a lot of this is exactly that, just story, but something is off about it and I can't put my finger on it. But anyways, Ron and Mary are having their whole little thing. Love language comes up and Mary lets us know that hers is physical touch, something that we know she didn't get a lot of from Cody. So we go from that to production cutting to the bald eagle who tells us that he learned what his love language was from an experience that he had with Robin. And it was physical touch. Why do you all keep showing us Baldy in these scenes and having him tell us those little tidbits like that? It's gross and it's unnecessary and we don't care. Let him and his shy wife have that conversation on their own. It just doesn't make sense. And how does he know that that's his love language? Take the test, Cody, and really, really figure out. Because for me, I don't know. Cody just he's needy. He's annoying. I can't stand him, y'all. Every time I see him, I just get more and more annoyed. Anyways, so after the round is over with the speed dating, Ron does let the cameras know that he enjoyed his interaction with Mary, that he's going to put her down as someone he would like to connect with further. And we'll see where it goes from there. Jen comes back to the table, lets Mary know that she actually met Ron outside because he was running late and he seems cool. Mary tells Jen that she enjoyed him and she feels like he's the only real candidate, but she is hesitant about filling out the form to say that. Mary, I need you to stop playing games. Why do we have to watch 2 episodes of this if you finally go and you meet somebody that you may find to be interesting and you don't intend on having a follow up? Like, fill out the form and keep it moving, girl, or don't show us this. End scene. So, Cody is back to playing with trees. He has on a new helmet that made me laugh. That orange helmet with the things on the side, like Cody really he really takes his job seriously. And you cannot tell me that he doesn't have a whole bunch of equipment that he barely uses or uses incorrectly around that house. So he is cutting what looks like a tree that has already either been cut or fallen into many little pieces. We are reminded for the 100th time that they bought Coyote Pass before they even moved to Flagstaff. Bald Eagle claims that he wants to be done with Coyote Pass. At this point, for him, he's calling it a source of pain. He feels like after this sells, maybe the ladies will be nice, because he always has to make some type of dig about the exes. And then later on, you're going to go on an apology tour throughout the rest of the season because you're going to run out of stuff to film, I guess. I don't know. So his bird reminds him that he's been hard too, meaning you're talking about them being mean, but you've done some stuff yourself. She says there's been a lot of miscommunication. Bird, you're a part of the problem, but like always, you find fault in everyone else and act like you are not. The bird says, as far as she's concerned, she's not done yet. She's still holding on to Coyote Pass because it's a part of her dream. She's still coming to terms with it. Robin Brown is full of crap. Janelle kind of said it, and I even wrote it in my notes before Janelle said it. This girl has a huge home. Why exactly are you holding on to Coyote Pass when you have your own home that you've been living in at this point for 5 years? Now, according to the bird, because she lives so close to Coyote Pass, to Pooville, she would go out there all the time to put her good energy out there. That might be why they didn't get it. Because her good energy, when she said good energy, I said good energy. We all know that that's not true, because the real reason Robin was out on that property is because she used to spy on Christine and report her comings and goings, and she used to spy on Janelle to see what Janelle was doing. She even walked upon Janelle one time. The other reason she was there was to film scenes. Robin didn't go out there like that. So Janelle tells us she doesn't know at this point if it was her dream. She could see herself out there because it was beautiful, but no one really wanted to live out there. The way that these ladies keep changing the narrative is so annoying to me, because Janelle, at one point, that's not the way you were speaking. But now that we're here where we are now, we're going to switch it up. Got it. Janelle then says what I said about Robin in the house. She says she could tell very early on that they were not going to be on that property. If that was really the case, Janelle, then why did you go and get an RV and purchase it to go be out on that property? Were you trying to be on it by yourself, knowing that they were never going to be on the property? Was that for the purposes of proving a point? Like, what exactly was that about? That's just what I'm wondering. Y'all tell me what you think. So she reminds us that at this point, it's been 2 years since she left Cody, and the division of the property has still not been corrected. Now, the bald eagle hopes that over time, everybody will say that they were petty and just want to be nice. I don't think that they were being petty, though. And I think that they still aren't. I think that if anyone is being petty, it's the feathered crew. But what do I know? He then tells us, I have a wife. Her name is Robin. Why do you always have to let us know about your wife? We've heard a different version of this for the past few seasons. But anyways, I have a wife. Her name is Robin. She has a conscience that is angelic and very close to God. Say what? way he says these things and believes it. Hold on. Okay, okay. And she would never let me do anything naughty. I hate that freaking word. If she's close to God, I don't want no parts. No parts. No, thank you. No, thank you. Anyways, so Cody says, for you, Robin, I think why it's so hard for you to let it go is because, Coyote Pass is the symbol of our family, you know. And then we get our first tears of season 20 because Robin begins to I just I just care more about the property than, I gotta get over this. I'm so tired of this. I have to move on. Everybody says I have to move on. You're crying about moving on from a property when what you should be crying about is the loss of your family. Forget what this property symbolizes and let's talk about the real thing. And for whatever reason, some of them still are trying to figure out a way to bridge the gap, even though y'all clearly don't care about them. Cody now suggests them moving because in this first scene, his reason is his heart was broken in Pooville, not Pooville, I'm sorry. His heart was broken in the nest, the McMansion, because he picked up the phone to his son's passing in that house and he wants out. I'm trying really, really hard not to feel like this is performative, but something about that statement feels performative, especially because later on he gives a completely different reason. Now, Robin agrees that they should have a space large enough for their kids to be there and for the other children that he has when they want to come around. And I just want them to admit that they just want a bigger space in a different house. I don't think it's any of the other reasons that they said, but I could be wrong. Y'all tell me what you think. So we get to the scene with Janelle and Mary. What we find out is that Cody finally called Janelle to tell her that he's going to add them to all the pieces of the land to make it equal. Mary can't understand why it took so long for him to respond to an email that was sent months ago by their attorneys. He actually told Janelle what his plan was and told her to talk to Mary because he didn't want to talk to Mary because, as he lets us know, Mary is a nag and he's decided to ignore her. They're going to sell the property and they'll get their 25%. And he just doesn't understand why everybody is so upset. Now, the way he presents this is in a jokey manner, and I don't feel like that's the way it was said. We've seen how Cody has spoken about these ladies and how Cody has spoken to these ladies. So you cannot tell me that there wasn't some snarkiness when he said what he said about Mary being a nag. Mary at this point is over him. She does not feel like Janelle should have had to been the middleman. Janelle's like, look, I tried to invite him to be on this call. I tried to get him to be a part of this conversation, but he told me that he doesn't really like me. And I told him I don't really like him either. Good for you, Janelle. Good for you. I hope you told him some other expletives as well. So Janelle's like, at this point, I don't care what he has to say because he's always trying to act like he's a victim, that everybody's so mean to him, that he has this little shy, pretty wife now. She's just really, really shy. And I'm listening to Janelle and I said, Janelle, I think that there is a part of you that does care. And that's all right if you do. I love, however, that you are showing this other side of yourself, but part of me wants you to remember who you're talking to and that you're talking to Mary, because Mary, I still got my eye on her. So Janelle said, I was shy when he met me, but I wasn't submissive. And Mary says, I think that what he's really trying to say is that like she's like the only wife or the only pretty wife. In other words, like Robin was the only pretty one. I personally do not think that Robin is the only pretty one. I said a long time ago when this first started that out of all the wives, I don't know why, but I always found Janelle to be the prettiest. Even though some people may have felt otherwise, I just thought that Janelle had a natural beauty. Janelle says, I guess his type is submissive, shy, and pretty. Bottom line is the ladies are excited about getting a parting gift, but they are holding their breath because they know that Cody likes to play games. So the bald eagle later is at the house, and we're getting yet another shot of the inside of this home. And he wants to show his bird what he got done. He's showing her the 25%. He says again that he wants to move from there, that for him, the house is a source of a lot of pain. We already know that the family was barely in that house. So I don't get why it's so painful for him. But he's claiming that he wants a new start, that they've been in that home for 5 years, and 4 of those 5 years was a struggle, and his divorce has made it bad. And he wants room for his children. And he also claims that he wants space for not his children, his grandchildren. And he also claims that he wants space for Truly. He thinks that if he does this, that she will come. You're going to have to do more than creating a space for her. You're going to have to actually put in effort with her. You're going to actually have to pick her up. You do realize, because I have a friend that's gone through this, that in a lot of instances, when it comes to the arrangement for picking up a child, especially when they're younger, is it's not mandatory in a lot of states anymore that you meet midway. A lot of states are requiring for the parent that doesn't have primary custody to do the traveling and to be responsible for said traveling. So I have a friend that comes to the area, and he lives 4 hours away, twice a month, rents a room and everything so that he can keep his son for the weekend. It's very much so a thing. Or sometimes he'll bring him to his home and then bring him back. But either way, it just goes to show you that you're acting like you're putting forth effort with Truly when you're really not. I don't think that Christine is lying in that. I think that we saw instances where she was in town while filming and you still didn't make an effort to see Truly. The bird tells us that it's going to require more than just a move, that he's going to have to do some internal work. She wants to get a couple of days to pray about it and think about it. So the goal is for her to get the home that she wants according to Cody. And he's ready to go look now. It's already something that y'all have done, especially because next episode you're telling us how you're thinking about moving across town. They already did this, and the only reason why he probably was willing to fix the whole situation with Coyote Pass is because they needed that money to help them with the purchase of their new home. We're not dumb at all. It's just, y'all, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this season. That's it. That's all I got. Y'all tell me if there's more that you want to talk about. I'm trying to like skim real quick and see if I missed anything. I don't think I did. Um I don't understand why it's so hard for them to let go of a property that they never did anything with. The only memories that they have on it is them sitting out there and jumping in and swimming in Perry Poo in the water, and doing their COVID picnic thing. I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't feeling this episode. Sorry if this review is all over the place. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'm really not feeling the season. I'm just not yet. I know it's only episode 2, so hopefully it will pick up and get better, but it just seems like a bunch of stuff being dragged. Anyways, thanks y'all. Until next time. Peace.